Hello everyone. Today I'm going to work on this continue to work on this inventory system. So as you can see here, now we have a meat and some water with test icons. So when I select one item, it will update the name of that item and the description of it. So rabbit meat restore 5 points of health, and when I select this water icon, it's water increase 2 points of hydration level. So this is the part I'm gonna work on today, and after this part I'm gonna add two buttons to consume or eat or discard. So that will be the next part, right? And this episode is sponsored by these generous patrons. Thank you very much for the support you guys are giving me. Right, so this is what we have so far in our inventory system. When I press E, we get this. Actually, this is not functional at all, only that. And yeah, also I added something of the recording. This background blur, I think I forgot to record that part last time. So it's just I'll show you. It's just this background blur. Drag and drop and enlarge it to acquire the whole area under the inventory background. Right, now today let's work on one of these buttons which represents it could be food or any other resource or material, pelt or anything, any collectible resource which will be stored in the inventory. So, and it would be a button because when I select it, the information about that item should be displayed here. Right, so let's create a different widget type for that. WDG, what should we call it? Item. Well, here the size is 104 by 106. And also it should be a button, so therefore let's add a button. It should be enlarged to acquire the entire area. And for the image, I think we'll use this image slot background like this, and this is when in the normal, so that means normal button mode, it's not clicked. So when I click on it, let me copy and paste for the states hovered and rest. So here let's add a tint, maybe a slight right one, and pressed more red one. No, yeah, I guess red is good enough. Okay, then compile. Let's add this button instead of this image. How to do that? Let's drag and drop item widget, and here does it have a size? No. Right, so how do we get it to the scale? Let's try deleting one of them. Still same size. What if I set this to size to content? Alright, now it's okay. Alright, okay. Now I'm gonna delete all other buttons so that I can replace it with this widget items. I am duplicating it with Control W. Let's select these three and duplicate. Oh, I can't do it. When I select multiple items, it doesn't work. So okay, wait a second. Can I set them dynamically in the through the construction script? Oh no, this, yeah, here. Well, no, let's do it this way. I'll pause the recording and add all buttons necessary. If we want later, we can see how to do it dynamically. I won't do that here. Okay, now we can keep modifying this widget. So first, yeah, let's rename this to button or y31 item button. Okay, cool. And let's add a image right under that, and let's set it like this. No image. So for now, let's drag and drop one of these. Oh, this meat icon. Okay, and we will have a lot of meat here. Okay, that's all right. Let's call it item icon. Right, what next? So at the moment, if I go and play the game, these are interactable. As you can see, I can press also. That's not what I want to happen. So initially, if these slots are empty, they should remain non-interactable. Only if these slots are filled with something, it should be interacted. Then I should be able to click on it so that I can view the detail here, and maybe two buttons to consume one to consume or discard, something like that. Right, now here first I'll set this image to hidden. It should be hidden when I play. Yeah, and it should only made, and also the button should be non-interactable. How to disable that? Is it this one? Right, it should be enabled. Yeah, okay, now it's not interactable. Cool. One more thing, these items should be initialized by the items in the character, items collected by the character. So first let's create a custom event, initialize item. So here I should be able to set the icon set brush from texture, and we can add it as an input also. Yeah, well, so far that's all we need, but we might need some structure to hold the data of the item. So let's go to blueprints and create a new folder, structs. So here I'll add a new structure. I'll call it resource. No, let's call it resource data. Alright, now let's set a string, resource name. Oh no, let's just call it name. And then what else? For now all we need is a texture. Icon. And maybe a description. There should be a string like this. For some default values, resource name, resource description. Here let's add the food texture. Right. Oh, okay, then here I'll add the input type like this, resource data. Resource. Alright, now let's promote this to a variable. Let's call it resource. Okay, and then let's break this. For now all I need is the icon, so let's set, oh I can't set it. It should be a texture 2D, right? Let's change it. Hope that wouldn't cause any problems. Right, now I can just set it and compile. After that I'll set the item button enabled to true, and then the item icon set visibility to visible. Right, okay, now here for testing, let's add some test data. Okay, so here let's create, well, yeah, I think this is when I go to the graph we have a load of icons in the item type, so maybe this is not a good way to store them. We should have them in an array, and yeah, actually previously I manually added them, right? Maybe that's not the best way to do it, so let's add them through the code and store all of them in an array, so that we have better control over them and it is easier for us to initialize them. So how to add them through the code? First I'll delete them all, right? And here let's add we should do a for loop, sorry, a loop, a for loop, and first index is 0, last index should be 3, and within that we need to have another loop same as this. First index is 0, last index is 3, because we gonna have 4 elements, 4 columns and 4 rows, so that's why this last index is 3. And then here create widget in the type of widget, no, item, wdg item, and then promote to a variable, right? Select this and convert it to an array, Now get items, add whatever this element created here, and then also get the same thing, and we need to add it to this uniform grid panel. So let's call it item grid. That's better, and make sure that you have enabled it as a variable. Get the item grid and add child to uniform grid. Now here, as the row, use this index, and as the column, use this index, and the content is this. Right, okay. Now we have dynamically added all the elements we need, and we can't select or do anything to them because they are not added manually into here. They are added through the code, so that's why we can't select or do anything with them. Right, and also now we see the number of elements as 0. Maybe in the runtime it won't be like that, I'm not sure. Alright, let's collapse this node. Items. Okay, now let's call it initialize grid. Let's add an output to this as well. Like this, right? And after this done, initialization done, for testing let's add get the first item. Oh, we are getting a copy. Does that mean can we get a reference? No. Right, anyway, let's initialize item. Let's call initialize item, and here make resource. Let's call it meat, restore health, and the food icon. Let's see if this part is called alright, it is updated, so it is actually interactable. But we have a problem here. We should disable the player inputs when we are in here, otherwise it is harder to test, but let's do that later. Let's take care of it later. So the next step is when I select, the name and the description should appear here. Right, let's see how to do that now. Okay, right. So first these variables, no, okay, let's set them to be variables and change the name to item name, and this is item description. Right, now let's create a custom event. Select item. As the input, I'll give resource data. Get this and break. We have the item name here. Set text to the name. And then we have item description. Set text. Right, now we need to call this function whenever we select an item. So for that we need a reference within the widget item. But we don't have a reference. Maybe we can create an input and set the reference through that, but that feels like not a good design. So shall we create another interface? Yeah, why not? PPI inventory UI. Right, now let's select item, and the input should be resource data item. Compile. Now here I'll delete this, and under class settings let's add inventory UI and create select item event. Now we can set the item like this and connect it back. Okay, now in the widget item, let's go to the button on clicked. Let's create the on click event and get parent. Yeah, get the parent and call select item using this PPI inventory UI like this, and the item is this resource. Okay, let's compile it and let's see if that works. Okay, it didn't work. Why? Shall we add a print here? just to see if this is being called. It's not. Okay, why not? Let's see if this is called. Clicked. Yeah, it is called. What do we get as the parent? Do we not get in it? Get in this inventory as the parent? Why not? Right, let's print the name of the parent we get. We get the item grid. Okay, so right, I thought we are getting we receive a reference to this widget inventory. So yeah, we can't use that method. So how do we do this? Alright then, I'll right, let's do the previous one thing I explained. Here let's create an input in the type of inventory and promote it to variable. Inventory widget. Let's call it WDG inventory. Change the name here as well. Right, then instead of this, let's call it like this, WDG inventory, and now we need to add this reference, so we can do it here. When we initialize the item, we can give a reference to self. Let's see. Okay, now it is changed. Meet, restore health. Alright, so I'll stop this episode here, and as always the project files will be available through the Patreon page for download. And thanks for watching. See you in another episode. Goodbye. So in the future episode, in the next episode, I'm gonna work on this some buttons here to eat and discard. So when you press the eat button, the character will eat that item, and you press discard, character will discard it, like that. And right, thanks for watching. See you in another episode. Goodbye.